gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's May the 2nd, 2022. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined as always by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day, presented as always by LifeWallet, where the time is now to take charge of your personal health. And pretty good weekend, Matt Shodell. I know you've been fighting this laryngitis cough thing that you don't know where it came from, but it's been hampering your ability to talk the whole weekend. So it's a good thing that we didn't do any taping on Saturday and Sunday. But here we are back today. And the good news is I've got some video loaded up to show everybody. So you'll be able to moderate your verbal exchanges and volleys on this show and probably make it through to the end as we review all the news of the day. So just nod your head. Okay. All right. So today, a lot of our news is centered around a quarterback who is emerging on the Miami Hurricanes radar. How seriously, we don't know yet. But after reviewing his tape, which I'm going to show you some of in a minute, and sort of taking a look at the landscape of what's going on with Dante Moore, Jaden Rashada, and now Emery Williams. I think Emery Williams has as good a chance to be the quarterback in this recruiting class, Matt, as anybody. And stories on the website today, we talked to Emery Williams. We talked to his high school coach and give everybody a pretty good idea of who he is, what he's about, and where things stand. But I'll let you nod your head again here, just because we're trying to limit your speaking. So would you agree that he has burst onto the scene in recruiting from Miami here in the last week or so, and there's a real chance that Emery Williams could be the quarterback in this recruiting class?
Yeah, listen, I mean, my cough, it comes and goes. So right now it feels okay. I'm going to check out later today. But anyway,
Damn, I thought you were just going to nod.
Jaden, I'm never not going to nod. I'm not going to let you steal the show, Gary. Never.
Damn it.
Jaden Rashada is going to visit this week. If he doesn't commit this week, I really think that this kid could wind up being the quarterback in the class. I don't think it's a pressure offer like, hey, we're offering these other kids because you haven't committed yet. I think they really like this kid a lot. So I think they'd be just as happy with Emery Williams as, look, fans wouldn't be as happy, but I think Miami coaches think this guy can be a great quarterback.
All right, well, they might be as happy in a minute. Okay, first let's talk about Rashada. Okay, Rashada, unquestionably one of the top quarterbacks in the country. He was at the Elite 11 regionals this weekend and received an invitation to go to the national camp. I was able to find this clip online. So, it shows Rashada in action out there at the Elite 11. But anyway, yes, he is supposed to visit Coral Gables for, I guess this would be the third time.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's a way we can mute you when you cough.
I'll mute myself.
Yeah, mute yourself. I don't think everybody wants to hear you cough through this whole show.
What do you mean? People probably prefer to hear me cough than hear some of the nonsense we talk about.
Well, this isn't nonsense. This is about the potential future.
Ever since you hexed me with that lady prancing around wearing a crab outfit, I've had this horrible cough. So, it's your fault, honestly.
All right. Well, if you have to cough, just mute. Okay.
Hey, look at my setup here. I got my humidifier. I got all my cough drops. Look at these cough drops. Look at this.
I think there's only one. Wait, go back. There's only one thing everybody's interested in. That wallet, that billfold of cash.
It's my wife wallet.
We won't ask you to count it. That's
It's my wife wallet because my wife actually got that for me.
That would be that would be an invasion of privacy. But anyway, so like Rashada's coming back, I guess, for the third time, and he's serious about Miami, but he's been flirting with a lot of other schools too, and I think you're right in that if he is going to be the quarterback in this class, and I'm also not convinced, by the way, that they may not take two. If Rashada comes and if Williams is willing to come as well, I wouldn't be surprised if they took both of them because, look, here's the reality. Tyler Van Dyke's here for one more year, and they're going to be sweating out every day with Jake Garcia.
Both of them don't want to come together. That's the problem.
I understand, but hear me out, okay? And this is going to hold true here. People are going to be trying to get Miami players to transfer. Now, the portal deadline, I guess, just passed, so that probably takes Jake Garcia out of play for a year, I believe. But there will be other guys on this team that may be graduating after the semester or after summer A or whatever that will still have the option of transferring as graduates. So, we're going to be watching that as we go forward. But anyway, look, I mean, the chances of two of them coming are very slim, no argument. But I really like both of these kids, and I'm not unconvinced that if Williams wanted to come in addition to Rashada, that they wouldn't take both. But that's jumping ahead of things. First, we got to see what happens with Rashada when he visits here this week. All right. So Emery Williams just burst on the scene this week, and you're thinking, he's not a national recruit like Dante Moore and Rashada, who are five-star kids. But when you turn on the tape, Matt, you see a different thing, and I'm going to do that here for a few minutes. We're not going to show the whole thing, but we'll show a minute or two of it and give everybody an idea of the skill set that Emery Williams has. So watch this play right here. He looks off his first receiver, makes a decisive decision, and delivers the ball right on the money. And another one there in the corner of the end zone. The thing I've noticed about this kid is he goes through his progressions really, really well. He's decisive. He doesn't hesitate. And the ball placement is just impeccable. You've now seen three throws here in sequence, and every pass, there's another one, is right on the money. He's got good feet, good presence in the pocket. It looks like he has a decent arm. Now, you can never tell on high school tape, really. Arm strength is very difficult. Here you're seeing that he can run a little bit too. He's got deceptive speed. His coach talked to us about how he's been working on his speed. But you're just seeing consistency. Now, it's the highlight tape. We're not seeing his bad throws. But you're seeing an ability to deliver the ball to the right place with great accuracy. And just look at that ball placement. I mean, throw after throw after throw. So this is why Emery Williams is now very much a presence in Miami's recruiting effort for a quarterback. And Matt, I'll let this play another minute or so, but as you watch this, your thoughts on Emery Williams?
Yeah, I mean, he throws effortlessly. He looks really good. But again,
I know you don't like highlights.
I don't like highlight tapes, but I mean, every throw you see looks great. So he's got good
size. If it wasn't great, they wouldn't put it in the tape.
Yeah, and this morning, we talked to his high school coach also. It's just a little weird to me. Like, even the coach doesn't seem to understand it. I can't really wrap my head around it. He was a top 5 passer statistically in Florida last year. It's not like nobody knew about him at some small school. He's got a teammate on offense who's got offers from everybody who's committed to Georgia. And nobody seemed to really think that he's, that big time of a prospect. So it's just a little, there's some sort of disconnect. I'm not sure why. But look, Miami, Frank Ponce likes the guy and offered him, and I don't understand. I got to talk to more people about it because obviously this just came on our radar last week, and maybe get my head wrapped around why. Why does nobody seem to really have offered him? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. That's all.
Reminds me a little bit of like a Ken Dorsey, maybe would be a good, I just like how quickly he decides where he's going with the ball, and then just gets it there. The ball placement is beyond great. I mean, and his ball placement is really, really good.
Yeah.
So anyway, Emery Williams, remember the name. He will be visiting Miami in mid-May. That's the plan right now. Remember, Rashada's coming this week. So we update you on all this with multiple stories on the website this morning. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that. On another football recruiting note, we have a story this morning on offensive lineman Tosin Babalata from DeMatha, Maryland. Alex Mirabal visited his high school. And we catch up with Tosin and provide an update on where he stands in his recruitment as well. All right, Matt. I wanted to take a few moments. We had a couple hot topics that emerged over the weekend, so I thought we'd take a couple minutes to discuss that right now. Let me start with the NFL draft. Okay, a Miami Hurricane, and we talked about this Friday, or no, I guess it was Thursday, and we discussed the possibility that this would be the case, but a Miami Hurricane didn't get drafted until the 7th round, and there was only one, and that was John Ford. Okay, the 7th round thing didn't surprise us because that's what our research showed us before the draft, and it was spot on. I'm not sure anybody thought that if one guy was going to get drafted, that it would have been John Ford. Maybe Rambo, maybe Bubba Bolden, but I don't think anybody would have said John Ford. So your thoughts on that, and then let's talk a little bit about the statement that was made once again in the NFL draft, which is where the conversation is the loudest about what the talent level has been at Miami here these past several years under Manny Diaz and as an extension, Mark Richt.
I mean, the last part's the easiest part to answer. There has not been top-level NFL talent except for a couple of defensive ends, one who played one full season and the other one who was a transfer and played one full season. As for John Ford, the NFL doesn't draft based on statistics. The NFL doesn't draft based on, I should just say statistics. The NFL drafts based on your potential as a professional football player, which generally comes down to your height and your weight at that position, and then what you show at pro day or if you go to the NFL combine, and that's it. It doesn't matter what you did. It's sort of like if you're for a bad example, if you're a high school recruit, like these tapes we're watching, you can get an offer off your highlight tape, but it's not a real offer. The real offer is they see you in person and, they can sort of see you move around, or they see you at a camp at their school. Like that's how you really get a real offer. And people realize, oh, he's the real deal. So like in the NFL, it doesn't matter that Rambo was the top receiver and broke records for Miami. He wasn't strong enough to, for instance, help as a blocker on the edge. He's too slim. He has good straight ahead speed, but that's not going to do anything against more physical cornerbacks in the NFL that are really fast also. So he had a problem. John Ford was draftable, and he really could have easily not been draftable, but he was draftable by at least one team because he has the size. He did nothing in his Miami career that I would say, wow, he was okay. He had like maybe 30, 40 tackles as a starter in 2 or 3 years that he started. Didn't get a lot of sacks, didn't get a lot of, chasing down the quarterback stuff, but he can hold the point of attack. He's strong and he's got NFL measurables in that sense. Now will he make the team? Who knows? Being a 7th round pick or a free agent isn't that much different, quite honestly. But that's what they're doing this draft on. That's doing the draft based on, wow, he had 80 catches and whatever number of yards. That's sort of what happened with Rambo and with Harley and Derek King. Obviously, nobody really thought he'd be drafted, but Derek King was a great college quarterback. But again, that's not what the NFL is all about. It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. So obviously this is something that's going to change. I don't think there's any question about it. Miami's going to recruit at a higher level. They're bringing in some quality transfers. This NFL draft day situation is going to change. It is going to get better.
Well, somebody was. I didn't look. How many Oregon players got drafted? By the way,
I I didn't count, but I
heard it was
think
only Kayvon.
it might have only been Kayvon. Yeah.
By the way,
now I will say this, and this is not an excuse by any stretch of the imagination. They had a very young team this past year. Their best players were freshmen and sophomores.
So did Miami, Gary. But listen, we're not going to debate it. Obviously, Mario's a better recruiter than Manny. I mean, it's not even a debate. But Miami had a very young team too.
But we've been looking at the talent. We've been looking at the talent,
right?
And I think you and I are in agreement.
Yeah, 100%.
That with these injections of talent that have come in, that the Miami talent is now, climbing above probably the Oregon level that Mario Cristobal left behind.
Yeah,
but my point is, it's going to get better. Okay, we don't need to argue about Oregon and the roster there. Oregon, they had a better team than Miami last year.
Did you watch the draft at all? Did you watch the Giants' first pick when they picked Kayvon?
Nope.
No, you
didn't
missed
watch
it.
one second of the draft. Huh?
They had a Make-A-Wish young man named Sam Prince. And Sam Prince's grandfather's in my fantasy football league because he's friends with my father-in-law. So
that's cool.
And he stole the draft. You really should go watch some of the highlights of for anybody who out there who did not watch Kayvon get drafted, just go on YouTube and type in,
I'll do it after the show
and watch what happened. It was great.
I'll go check it out. But yeah, it would be stupid. I mean, that can, anybody wants to do there'll be guys that want to do that on the message board. But just want to take shots at Mario. But Oregon had a better team than Miami last year. I don't think there's any question about it.
Yeah, of course. But my point is, you can't really. I mean, you need NFL talent, right? And Oregon had it, but it was freshmen, sophomores, and juniors that weren't in this draft class. And Miami, has a James Williams. Who knows who else out of those young people will turn out to be NFL players. That's really when you can grade Manny Diaz and say, wow, he was awful in terms of NFL talent, or, oh, look at that, 10 of the freshmen and sophomores now wound up being drafted in the first 3 rounds. Like, we don't know yet.
It's way too early to anoint anybody.
Correct.
Including James Williams, by the way.
Right, but just to say one person got drafted in this draft for Oregon and for Miami, it's a little bit meaningless. It's a little bit too small of the bigger picture, but I would agree overall that Manny Diaz wasn't bringing in enough NFL talent, and that Mario probably did at Oregon and probably will at Miami. That's the general gist I would have out of that.
All right. The other thing I wanted to touch on was the whole Isaiah Wong NIL controversy. And man, this one was really bizarre. His agent, thank God thank you for putting yourself on mute and not making us weather that cough. Anyway, so his agent tells ESPN that Isaiah Wong, if he doesn't get he signed an NIL deal with LifeWild for $100,000. Okay, then Nigel Pack signs one with the same agent, by the way, the same exact agent. He gets Nigel Pack $400,000, $300,000 more than Isaiah Wong. Then he calls ESPN and he tells ESPN that Isaiah Wong is going into the transfer portal unless he gets a better NIL deal. I mean, it's unbelievable. You can't make this up. So John Ruiz, good for him, says, I don't renegotiate, which is right. You don't renegotiate. But what he did tell Isaiah Wong is, look, I will help you get additional NIL deals. I don't renegotiate. I'm not going to renegotiate. But I will help you get additional NIL deals. And then voila, just like that, Isaiah Wong is making a statement that he didn't authorize his agent to speak like that. And he makes it clear he is not going to go in the portal, and everything is happily ever after again. At that point,
is it my turn to talk?
Well, in a minute. And on top of it, Cam McGusty puts out a statement supporting Isaiah Wong. Okay, this is a 3-ring circus.
Now it's my turn.
It's your turn. It's a 3-ring circus.
So, first of all, my agent will be contacting you. I do want my contract renegotiated. That's for real. Secondly, get used to it. Okay, this is an agent who basically told the rest of the college basketball world, this is the agent's job, by the way, told the rest of the college basketball world, my client is making $100,000. Does anyone else in the world think he's worth more than that? And if you do, call me, please. Right? Because the agent can't reach out to 100 whatever number schools and say, hey, how much money will you give Isaiah Wong? He knew Isaiah Wong wasn't happy, and maybe he shouldn't be. I mean, would you guys be happy if your fellow employee who you think you're just as good at was making 4 times more money than you were? You probably won't be happy in your life either. I don't blame people want to blame Isaiah Wong. And Isaiah Wong, at the end of the day, threw his agent under the bus, which is fine because Isaiah is coming back to Miami probably if he doesn't go pro. And he needed to do that because otherwise fans would have booed him mercilessly the whole year. And he had to make it seem like it was the agent's fault. But bottom line is this is the new normal, man. Agent tell the world, my client's not happy at this school. He wants more money. He's not, he thinks he deserves more. Anybody in the world think he is worth more? Apparently nobody did. And Isaiah can say, oh, okay, well, he's going to help me, wink, wink. He'll get me more NIL deals. How's John Ruiz going to get him more NIL deals with other people? That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. If anybody wanted to give him an NIL deal, they would just tell him, here's your NIL deal.
John Ruiz can make a couple phone calls, and trust me, he can get Isaiah Wong a couple more.
John Ruiz would just give him the money if he wanted to. What does he make phone calls for?
Because he can't renegotiate. That would be a horrible precedent, and he's not going to set that. But there is a collective that's about to emerge.
Yeah, well, John Ruiz
can give Isaiah Wong an NIL deal.
John Ruiz is apparently taking credit for being able to get anybody NIL deals with anybody else.
Well, that's by design.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. But he really can do it. I mean, they're working together. Like he's gonna advise the collective on the legal aspects of things and stuff. He's put enormous resources into this NIL thing, so he will get Isaiah Wong more money. That's what he told him he would do, and he will deliver. I mean, on that.
You know how he's going to get more money? He's going to call up one of his buddies, say, "Hey, I'll take you out on some boat rides, and you can use my airplane for a month. Just give this guy 50 grand.
Give this kid 50 grand. Give him 100 grand. I'll take you out on my cigarette."
Yeah, that's what happens. I mean,
all right. Whatever. So, but number one, I think your voice is coming back. You're sounding pretty good. But
when I get agitated,
yeah. But number two, I'm not convinced that this is not going to change. I think this NIL. I spoke too soon, but this NIL is and I'm going to measure my words here because I don't want to get accused of cursing. It's if I say crap, that's not a curse word. Right? It's a crap show. Okay. Not a crap game like in Las Vegas. It's a crap show. And something is going to give, whether it's legislation, whether it's the NCAA figuring out what they can legally do. There's going to be some controls that are going to be put in place to rein this whole thing in. But for right now, John Ruiz, Miami, as an extension, are exploiting it to the max. They've rebuilt this roster with, I think the total is 11 transfers now. This team is going to look totally different in the fall than anybody could have imagined. And what that will mean in terms of wins and losses, we're going to see. I still think they need a number one receiver, personally. And it's also a shame that Rambo probably could have come back for a year and got an NIL deal. But at the end of the day, he wasn't going to get better in that year. But anyway, I do think, Matt, that things are going to change. I don't know what. I can't put a finger on it yet. But I can't see it continuing in this wild, wild west fashion. Like the receiver at Pittsburgh suddenly saying, I'm leaving and going to USC because USC is going to give me $3 million and a house overlooking the Pacific Ocean or whatever. I mean, it's out of control.
The only thing that the NCAA maybe could try to do is, and which they probably should have done in the first place, was to put control in the hands of the schools. They didn't trust the schools. They didn't understand. They thought it was better to trust the boosters than to trust the schools, which is probably one of the NCAA's just typical decisions. It just made no sense. Like, schools don't get involved at all. You can't have anything to do with helping your student athletes. God forbid. We're going to let the agents help the student athletes. That's what the NCAA said. This is the worst organization in the history of the world, okay? Like, they do the worst, dumbest things every single time. Every time they do anything stupider, they do something even stupider. So who knows what they'll do next?
I mean, they went to Congress before all this started and tried to get Congress to pass a law to take the dirty work off their hands, and they couldn't get that done. But yeah, it's like they
don't trust the schools to help their own student athletes, which is insane. They trust the agents more than they trust the colleges. That's what they did by doing this, because they could have put it in control of the school's hands. They could have said to each school, you have jurisdiction. You can pick 3 impartial people who will help, set up these deals for the children, for the student athletes. I'm so old, they're all children, to make sure that they're not getting taken advantage of. But no, they just said, it's a free-for-all. The school can't be involved. Agents can do whatever they want. That's what the NCAA did. Geniuses.
All right, I got one more thing I want to discuss today, but let's take a moment and hear from our friends at LifeWallet. We got a new commercial today.
I'm Angela Green, and I am LifeWallet.
Since I've had LifeWallet, I have felt more secure to play.
To protect you and your family, download LifeWallet now.
Not bad. What do you think?
I mean, true story. I was in the front row of watching a match, I guess it's called, for women's volleyball this past season, and it happened to be the team that won the national championship. You know what team that is, Gary?
Wisconsin.
That's right.
Yeah.
Front row. My son loved watching the Wisconsin women's volleyball team. We happened to be there over the bye weekend. They had a game match, whatever the heck it's called. I've never been to a women's volleyball match ever. And it was so much fun. We had the best time,
So, but what do you think of the new commercial?
I wasn't paying any attention.
I
saw the volleyball. I saw volleyball players. If it's not Don Chaney, I don't pay attention, Gary.
Oh, I can make that happen.
No.
Focus on your self-love. That helps a lot. If you know how to control your self-love, then you'll be fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
You got your Don Chaney fix.
That's my guy.
All right, Matt, baseball. The postseason's approaching. They got 12 regular season games left, and they've been struggling a little bit the last couple weeks. They dropped 2 out of 3 at Georgia Tech this weekend, and obviously not the time of year to be struggling. So we have a analysis today on the baseball team, the state of affairs coming off the weekend. Our prized intern Cal Friedman has put that together, and I think you guys will enjoy that. But Matt, this is not the time to be losing series.
Probably not. You want to play your worst ball at the end of the season, I guess, is how they're going to have to say it, because that's what's happening. They're playing so well, and
they were doing great the whole year.
They lost 4 in a row to really not good teams, and they've got a couple of really tough series coming up. So it's going to be really interesting to see if they can rebound or not. This is a baseball team that surprised me already, because I thought they're going to be pretty run-of-the-mill in the ACC. I don't think they're going to be anything special, but really Gino DiMaggio has impressed me. He's done a really nice job putting the team together, and there's really a lot of new pieces that he brought from all over the place. Because a lot of guys left after last year, and people thought it was going to implode. And I would hear whispers that none of the players like Gino from last year's team, and you get concerned. And I'd heard the same stuff about Jim Morris too, by the way. So maybe that's just how people complain to reporters. I don't know. Haven't heard that about any Mario or any of the football coaches, but I heard that about the baseball coaches. But this has all been, to me, a pleasant surprise for the season. And yeah, they lost 4 in a row. But you're going to have bumps in the road. I mean, I played baseball, high school, college, and you're not going to win every game. You're going to have tough times, and it's how you respond to those tough times that really dictates how you'll be. And then at the end of the season, if they do really well and make the College World Series, they'll probably point to these 4 games, just like the basketball team pointed to that Alabama game, and say those 4 games are what made us realize, even though we had won so many games in a row, we weren't playing as well as we should have been. Maybe that'll be the case, or maybe the season's going to go south and everyone's going to say Gino DiMaggio should be fired in a few weeks. It's going to be one or the other. So stay tuned.
All right, so that's going to do it for today. A lot for you guys to sink your teeth into on the website, and we'll be watching the quarterback drama continue to unfold here in the next couple of weeks, with Rashada visiting this week, and then Williams visiting in the middle of May. In the meantime, big sports time in South Florida. You got the Heat playoffs cranking into the second round. You got the Panthers playoffs starting this week. So a lot for you South Florida sports fans to embrace as well. So for Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. We thank you for joining us today on Good Morning CaneSport. You guys all have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow, everybody.